Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide. We know that nothing happens by chance, that we are all here by divine appointment. We heard the call, we answered. Before they call, I will answer, and while I am speaking, I will hear. There is an energy in the universe that is ever present, right where we are and everywhere present. I love our topic this morning. I love our theme, practical spirituality, where we acknowledge our daily life is our temple and our religion, and that one goes before us and prepares the way as we become a light unto our own path, drawing others into our energy field. Because there is a resonation, there is a frequency, and there is a vibration. And it's through this energy that we live and move and have our being. So our topic today is God will meet you where you are. And it does not matter where you are. Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of our movement, The Science of Mind, stated there is no spot where God is not. And when we acknowledge wherever we are, and in fact, one of my students in San Diego said that his awakening was in Tijuana. He said, I was on a drinking binge, and I had been drinking for days. I woke up and literally in the gutter of a street, and the sun was shining so warmly onto my face. And he said, something happened within me. And I realized at that moment that I was not alone. That there was an energy, a power, and a presence that was right where I am. And when Dr. Holmes states so, he said, though I see the drunk lying in the gutter and the saint kneeling at the high altar in ecstasy, I will see no difference, for each are expressing the one life in their own tongue. Think about it. I will see no difference, for each are expressing the one life in their own tongue. In other words, we don't judge what anyone's process is. God will meet us where we are. And though it may be in the gutter, or it may be, kneeling at the high altar in ecstasy, with those flashlight moments of illumination, where we feel that sun just radiating through every bone in our body temple, and something happens. And he said, I got up from that gutter in Tijuana, and I made it to a 12-step program. And he said, I never drank again, and that was like 30 years prior. But to wake up in a gutter in Tijuana, and feel the sun shining on your face, and getting up in that moment, and realizing that there is an energy, and I feel guided and directed in that energy. What did the psalmist say? Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Whither shall I flee from thy arms? If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, thou art there. Though I ascend on the wings of the morning, and I follow to the sea to its most depths, behold, thy hand shall lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Whither shall I flee from thy presence? Thou art there. If I take my cover under darkness, the light and darkness are the same to thee. There is no spot where God is not. That God meets us right where we are. And I read a book by Elizabeth Gilbert several years ago. It was entitled Eat, Love, and Pray. In fact, there was a movie that was made out of it as well. It was a very profound journey about someone who didn't know who she was. And she goes on this amazing journey. And she finds herself in Italy, and then she finds herself in India, and then she finds herself in Bali. And so when she went to Italy, because she said she was just craving Italian food, and she wanted to speak Italian. And her friends and publicists told her, don't go. She goes, this is an adventure, it's calling my name. And she took a stand in her life. And when she went to Italy, she met wonderful people and had amazing experiences. And then went on to India. And when she went on to India to learn how to meditate, and it was like a real chore for her, because, you know, it's like you go within and you think that, oh, I'm really going within, and I'm going to really, really allow myself to have this experience. And what happens is we have to empty ourselves. We have to empty our minds. And she said she would kind of put one eye up and she would see she'd only been meditating for 1 minute, 2 minutes, until we surrendered, until we really let go and let God do what God does best by means of us. Whatever we conceive our God to be, whatever name we put on our higher power, it does not matter. But to acknowledge that which is within us, that lives and moves and has its being at the center of our one life, energetically opens an amazing space. And she said that on her journey, she said that the moment of her enlightenment, God meets us where we are. She said she went into the bathroom, she just started crying. She said, I just fell on the bathroom floor, and I woke up the next morning, I had been crying, and my life wasn't working, and my relationships weren't working, nothing was working. And she said, that's when I got up and thought, I'm going to say yes to the adventure of life. I'm going to have my experience. And it was really interesting because I got to observe Elizabeth on Super Soul Sunday with Oprah Winfrey. And they talked about on the bathroom floor experience that many have had their moment of enlightenment, because what is it? We totally surrender. And the tears and the energy, we're emptying ourselves. We totally surrender to what is. This is what's going on at the moment. So that we can arise up and say, I'm going to say yes to the adventure of life. If God meets me where I am, then it doesn't matter where I go, that there is a power and there is an energy and there is a light. Gary Zukav, who wrote The Seat of the Soul, talked about our soul as a mothership. And that we're like the little boats following the mothership. And we are at freedom of choice, and we have free will. And I hear so many times, why does God allow all of these atrocities to happen in the world? Why? I mean, if there really was a God, why is there this unhappiness? We have freedom of choice. We have free will. Choose thee this day whom you will serve. God, truth, beauty, aliveness, all those wonderful expressions, or the ego. And following the mothership in our little boat, when we decide to go another direction, that's when we get to experience unhappiness, upset, things in our life. Real authentic power is acknowledging that we are connected to the one power, which we choose to call God, or whatever serves us in that moment. To realize that there's a power, a presence, and the energy in the universe. It is within us. It is everywhere present. It's not, the anthropomorphic God up in the sky on a throne with the little black book and the long flowing hair and beard. It is a power, it is a presence, it is an energy. And when we acknowledge this energy opens us up. And it was interesting because here is the mothership of our soul, sailing beautifully, into the mist. And here is our little boats following the mothership, and we can choose not to as well and have another experience. And through the other experience, we get to learn our lessons through one or two ways. Number one is intuition. We listen to the still small voice of God. We listen to what God is saying in us. We follow our intuition. We have our experience. And the second one is bitter experience. Whither do I go from thy spirit? If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. And so we're in choice every single day of our lives. We are at choice. And when we make a higher choice, when we acknowledge that we have learned all we need to through bitter experience, that we're beginning to listen to our intuition, we're beginning to allow ourselves to know that we are co-creators with our higher power. That when we get it, we begin to take responsibility for our lives. And we know the twin of responsibility is what? It's freedom, isn't it? That we are free to choose how we're going to live our lives. And so on this day, when we acknowledge God meeting us where we are, and that each moment is an opportunity to have this feeling of enlightenment and awareness and be conscious of our lives. And when we are conscious of our lives, something opens up. Now, I have a dear friend, and he has no peripheral vision, and he's got a white cane. And he said he was in the parking lot down by Stater Brothers, and that he had the white cane, and, he was crossing, the little crosswalk. And this woman went right through the crosswalk. And he said, here I am with my white cane, my sunglasses. It's quite obvious that there's a vision situation here. And he said, I turned and I said, what are you doing? And he said, she just, raised her hand and gave him the half peace sign. So I said, hers is a really interesting karma, because it's just an outpicturing of the unconsciousness on the planet. And the more conscious we become, the greater the opening of our lives. And when we operate in an unconscious way, those are the results that we get. And so, every once in a while, someone will give us the half peace sign, and we just, bless them on their way, and just acknowledge that karma is an interesting thing. And I don't wish ill on anyone or any experience I've had, but I just know that I don't really have to do anything. I don't have to even judge it. Yeah, we don't like it, it takes us aback. That's part of the human condition. You know what? We get to vent. We get to allow ourselves to have our experience, and then we come out on the other side of it. And when we come out on the other side of it, we are so empowered. I love when Martin Luther King said, that beautiful statement about that, hate will not drive out hate. Only love can do that, right? And darkness will never drive out darkness. Only the light can do that. And that light that we feel shining within us and everywhere present when we are conscious. And the more conscious we become, the greater our lives, our expressions, and the energy that allows us to be exactly who we are, where we are in this moment. So as we go about our daily lives, which is our temple and our religion, and we have a recognition that we're part of something greater, and that yes, we're part of the human condition, so we have a certain mercy for ourselves and others. When we are merciful, when we are compassionate with the human condition, then that energy flows back to us in miraculous ways. And this month, I'm very aware, my sister was, her birthday is the 22nd. And my sister was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and took her own life. And I would go to court when she would get arrested for drugs or whatever it was. I would go to court and I would plead her case. And I would say she's a product of her environment. We came from a very abusive alcoholic home, and this is a learned behavior. And alcoholism is a disease. And the judge, invariably, wherever I was, whatever courtroom I was in, the judge would say, "You are her sister. Why aren't you this way?" And I would say, "Because I had a revelation. And that revelation was that I had a choice. And when I had this revelation about having a choice, I chose differently. And when you don't realize that you have a choice, then you're stuck in the effect. You're stuck in the circumstances. When people say, "Well, how are you?" "Oh, pretty pretty good under the circumstances. We don't want to be under those. We want to be very conscious of where we want to be and where we are going. And so when I would make this, I would share this, they really didn't know what to say. They would just have to acknowledge that, that they got it. And then she would always be released to my care. But we can never support anyone beyond their willingness to be supported. And I had to really, really learn that. And I had to relearn it, because we want people to join us on the path. And we want our loved ones and the energy of community. We want happiness. We want health. We want aliveness. We want the energy that allows us to be all that we can be. And if we fall down on the path, we also want compassion and not to be judged. And we're all part of the human condition. And when we get that, God meets us where we are. He meets us in that pool of tears. He meets us in laughter. He meets us in the expression. And I just say he because it's just, it's generic. It's an energy. We are meant. There's a loving, powerful presence right where we are. And we know there's a mechanical force in the universe, a cause and effect relationship. So when we look at God meets us where we are, and the opportunity that we have to lift up ourselves. Though whither shall I go from thy spirit? If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I am lifted on the wings of the morning, and I go to the uttermost part of the sea, behold, thou art there. Thy hand leads me, and thy right hand holds me. That we are held. That it's the touch of the Master's hand that lifts us to the awakening, to that moment of enlightenment, and we are on a spiral. When I hear people say God willing, God wills for us life, truth, beauty, energy, and aliveness. All the radiant things. Whatsoever things are good, whatsoever things are beautiful, whatsoever things are of good report. Think on these things. Think on what's working. Build on that. And when we build on the things that are working in our lives, there's expansion. There is aliveness. There is a sense of power. And I'm talking about authentic power, not external power. There's lots of external power that goes on outside of ourselves that, driving the right car and the right clothes and all that, that's all external power. Authentic power is realizing who we are and that we are part of something so magnificent. And it's a divinity that lives and moves and has its being at the center of our lives. So the revelation for me in my life was that I realized I had a choice. I also found signs of mine, which I attempted to introduce my sister to, but we cannot ever make anyone go where they're unwilling to go. We can only plant the seeds. If they take, great. If not, not ready. It's not good or bad, just not ready. So we all come in with the Dharma, with the destiny to fulfill. That mothership, the soul of us, it's deathless, it's timeless. It's the energy of our essence. That is what moves and actually moves on as we make our transition. We come in with it and we leave with it. And in our little boats, our little beautiful boats, we are at choice in what direction we're going to go. So when we realize, hey, God meets me where I am, and that I am never alone. I am never alone. And when I realize that I am never alone, and it doesn't matter if there's anyone with me or not, there is a power, a presence, and an energy that goes before me, prepares the way. And when I think I'm going to go down to the uttermost part of the sea, thy hand touches me, and thy right hand holds me, that I am forever enfolded in the everlasting arms of something so beautiful and so powerful. So today, in our humanness, God meets us where we are, wherever we are. And that makes all the difference. So it's so great to be together today and to acknowledge that we're all on a journey, and that in this journey we live and move and have our being, and that we become part of the journey. We become the energy of the journey. And we're all going to make that final journey one day. So while we're here, let's live, let's love, let's express, let's be all that we can be. And remember that hate will never drive out hate. Only love can do that. That darkness will never drive out darkness. Only the light can do that. And if we have that realization, that revelation, that the light, even in the darkness, that power and presence sees through that to the light. Because even the darkness is light to that one that we choose to call God. So today we're all going to go somewhere, and we are going where? Higher yet. Where are we going? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Because we are in a high place, and we will not come down. None of these outer things move us. We are in a high place, and we will not come down. So I say namaste. The God in me celebrates the God in you, and the God in you celebrates the God in me. And if I am in that place in me, and you are in that place in you, there is only one of us. Namaste. And I say shalom in this wonderful Lieberman Chapel, the peace that passes all understanding. And God bless us, everyone. And so it